Hello, Collective. Wendy Joy. I wanted to share a revelation that I came to yesterday and it made me laugh. But as I'm purging and, renewing my energy, whether it be within me or my home, my land, I'm constantly going through things that other people have left behind. And, doing what needs to be done with them. And as I'm moving the energy from my location to another location or transmuting what I left behind, right? I came across a group of papers, and within these papers was something that I used to look at all the time. It was mental images that I forced myself to read so that I remembered, every moment of the day how other people expected me to act or to be or how to present myself. And there were several pages within that cluster of paperwork that said, keep your mouth shut, be quiet, don't interact, keep your comments to yourself, you know, smile, walk away, transmute energy every day. And I had a laugh because that was an existence that I, was forced to endure at one point in my life. And I don't know why I still held on to those papers. Maybe I did that as, a treasure to find later on in life, after I totally disconnected with that mindset, that people pleasing aspect of me that didn't want to create any kind of rift or, imbalance between me and the people that, I loved the most, who, it made me scratch my head, quite honestly, to try to be able to understand why, if I could love somebody so deeply, why they couldn't return that love to me in the same manner and not want to suppress how I, responded in life to situations, whether I acted, like a kid and, or if I acted like a responsible adult, if I had outbursts, if I didn't handle myself properly, because keep in mind that these papers were written probably 20 years ago. And I was in a period of my life at that point where with the limited information that was at my disposal because of the mindset that I was in at the time, right, led me down a path where I thought that enabling how other people felt and belittling how I felt was going to somehow fix the situation. But over time, and it didn't take the whole 20 years, over time I did come to realize that, what? I can't control how other people react, respond, perceive, digest, information, situations, dilemmas, hiccups, roadblocks, whatever may be coming their way, whether or not they internalize it or projected it my way. Either way, I was still very affected because I always had the ability to feel or to see what other people were trying to hide. So even though they weren't forthcoming and most direct in the reasons why they wanted to suppress, suppressing was something that was blurted out, most often back then. But as my evolution and my journey began, it began I before I started to become aware. My healing journey started when I was brought to my knees. And I went from walking to being, 95, 90% paralyzed, the very next day. So my focus at that point was completely on me and being able to, sustain my structure and my foundation. And that point is when I realized and was forced to see, because the universe will do that. They will drop you to your knees, they will make you see, exactly what's around you and where you've positioned yourself to be. And if it doesn't align with what your higher self, already contracted would be for you, then drastic measures need to be made. And don't be surprised if that happens to you if you're resisting, right? If you're wanting to stay in a comfortable, familiar place, even though you know that it's really no good and it's not elevating you and it's just holding you back or, inevitably sucking your life away. Because what kind of life are you living if you're stagnant, if you're not moving forward, if you're not going, forward, elevating, reaching different goals and aspirations? Your imagination has a whole life of situations, excuse me, just waiting for you to walk into and, open up your eyes and allow your awareness and your ascension to carry you forward. So, my message, well, the message to me that I received from looking at the papers that I had found, that I had created, that I needed to reinforce because it wasn't second nature to me. It was second nature to me to do what I'm doing right now. To be open, to be loving, to be giving, to be funny, to be a kid, to be a beacon of light, a resource, a tool. And the people that I was surrounded by, family, friend, or foe, right? They wanted me to just dumb it down and be quiet. And I didn't want to let them down. So I did that. And I look back and laugh now because I didn't hurt me by doing that half as much as I hurt them. Because I was always me inside. And if I had to force myself to submit, right, to what they wanted, then they saw that and they felt it through my actions and my mannerisms because my energy precedes me. You know what you're getting before you even see me because my energy is that strong. At least so I've been told. So even though I tried to submit to people please, the people that I loved, they knew that I was doing it under, duress and false pretenses. And yet they still chose to allow me to do that and accept or absorb, not the resentment or whatever, but like the uneasiness of my energy while I was interacting with their energy, trying to help them achieve what it is that they thought they needed, which put me right back to the enabling thing. When I was healing and becoming more aware of my surroundings, internally and externally, these things were being brought full attention to me. And the more that time went by, and the more that isolation set in, and that I had to rely more and more, well, I always had to rely on me, but I mean, there wasn't an outside person that I could call to my aid to help me when I was struggling. I had to learn how to live that way and make the best of it. And that also enforced what works for you, you keep in your life, and what doesn't work for you or isn't within your best interest, you let fade away. So that's exactly what I did. And, they say that time heals all wounds. Well, sometimes it does, and sometimes it helps you suppress or forget. So, what you need to do is not suppress you and to let your inner you shine through and allow you to walk the journey that you always knew you were meant to. And if you need help along the way, feel free to reach out and let me know, because I can definitely help you. I absolutely know that. There hasn't really been one person that I couldn't help that's come my way, unless they refuse to receive the guidance or the direction or the intuition or the divine words that were being spoken to me for them, because it was too close to home, it hit too hard, it wasn't their time. They thought that the words were jabs, and in reality, they were just loving, comforting experiences of mine that I was able to share. And if it illuminated points they weren't ready to see yet, understand that that's something that they will come in perfect alignment with at their time. But it's your time to allow you to shine through. So pick you first and work on you and hold you and your inner dreams and desires and concepts outward for the world to see, for everyone to love and embrace. Because there's a big part of you that has so much to say. And don't ever feel that if another one wants you to stifle, that you should, because really you should listen to your intuition and you should follow your internal guidance and understand that so many people these days were born of a place of hate or fear or discontent, and it was maybe coddled or enforced or regenerated for whatever reason, maybe through experiences, because cycles will carry the same energy until you're ready to change that cycle, to resolve it, to step into the new cycle, which adds brand new possibilities, and they're endless. So if you're finding difficulty, reach out and let me know. And share with me your stories. I cannot wait to hear what struggles, what triumphs, what joys, what fears. Because life comes in all different sizes, shapes, and forms. And lessons are always provided, not just for one to absorb and to reap the benefit from, but to share, to give that wisdom and guidance, like the relay stick, to the one either before or after, because there's always something to learn. There's always room for evolvement and growth, especially when you walk with the divine on your spiritual path. My lovely collective, whatever it is you do today, I wish you love, joy, peace, evolution, and the ability to understand that to be heard, to be seen, to be felt, to be touched, it's a blessing. And it's not ever meant to be suppressed, not in any form. Your inner self is limitless. Don't try to put a cap on it. Don't try to cap your potential, your growth, your development. Fly high and soar. My lovely collective, I love you. Thank you. Blessed be my family.